War is raging, government is stealing our freedom, food processing plants are burning, and gun sales are through the roof. You're in the right place. This is The Prepared Mind. Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Well, everybody, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's Sunday Night Live, and yes, I am back. I made it back in one piece, in and out of several different international jurisdictions was I, on a multiple purpose, multiple quest, all over the place. We'll talk about it a little bit here. But pow, the world is still here, and yes, it is still hit the fan. We were attacked, right? The U.S. Navy, well, the Pentagon is saying that our ships are being harassed, attacked by drones somewhere out in the Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz area. Well, I don't know if that was a Prepared Mind prediction, but certainly a possibility. Now, the funny thing is, folks, it's hit the fan. We know they want to go to war. The banks are going, they want to go to war. But they didn't name the name. Who was it that sent these? We know they want Iran, maybe. I know that Israel doesn't like Iran. What is this going to do to our oil prices? What is this going to do to our energy availability? I don't know if everybody, meaning you and I here, I know I'm very aware of the potential of energy shortages here in America. If OPEC decides to create further issues for us, that's right, OPEC can put the squeeze on us real fast, real fast. So we've got trouble. I've got a ton of news to talk about. But we're going to start off with a super chat donation. It is Darcy T right out the gate. And she's got a $50 super chat. And so she says, good evening, John. The burning question on everyone's mind, how did this week go? Well, I'll tell you what, Darcy, you have got the inaugural opening of the 18-year Glenn Fiddick. And I think there's probably a funny little person named Nikki who knows about this knife that she sent me a while back. It's funny. It's got the little, it's got a little Mayan dude on it. It's funny that I was down in the Mayan zone of Mexico the last couple of days, or rather, well, yeah. I spent some time down in Mexico there. No cartel action. In fact, well, I got news on that too. But we got a lot to discuss. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and I've been waiting for this. Thank you. Oh, whew, I tell you what, I've been waiting to switch. I've been doing the Glenlivet for a while now, so going over to a 18-year Glenn Fiddick. It's a little treat. We'll just set that bad boy right there because we got more coming, folks. We got more super chats that are going to buy more of these. And yes, thank you for welcoming me back the way you have. Bottoms up. Cheers. Salut and Prost. Ooh. Glenn Fiddick has definitely got more more peat in it than the Glenlivet. Anyway, so how did this week go? I had several things happening that popped up for last week. I had some personal protective duties to do, and then I also had a job opportunity to look into, and then I needed to take just some fucking time to recharge, and that really didn't happen. There was no recharging. But there was some relaxation. But as far as recharged, I feel wound up tight. Tight. But still, let's see. Number one, the personal protective services worked just fine. No issues there. Dealing with the Grand Cayman authorities. Let's see. And then down in Mexico, everything was fine there. Job opportunity that was international in nature. Didn't offer the amount of reward for the amount of risk. I suspected that might be the case, but I took the opportunity to relax. But I am back, and I knew that was not going to change. Thank you for the great Super Chat donation. Everything this week went basically as suspected, as planned. No jail time, no trouble, no threats. One person thought I was a very large, well, I guess I am a very large person. I had a lot of people just step back. But one person thought I was a very famous celebrity. Okay, well, famous enough. Anyways, I want to thank you, Darcy T, and we're going to move right on to Chin Music. And his Super Chat donation comes through Venmo down below. There's Super Chat up here, and then there's Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. And so, hey, Chin Music, and thank you for the great memes, and thank you for sharing those pictures of illegals coming across the southern border. Okay, so Chin Music also purchases a shot of the 18-year Glenn Fiddick. We'll get to his questions, comments, thoughts in a second. And I'm not sorry to see that bottle open, folks. I want to thank you for supporting me. Everything we do here, talking about shit hitting the fan, our need to prepare, politics, economics, education, law, military, war, everything. We need to keep our eye on the ball. Semper Fi. Ooh, they just finished so good. A good scotch. All right, now I think I'm ready. I'm fired up. What does Chin Music want to talk about tonight? He says, hey, hope you're well, brother. Not sure if you saw the pic I sent of the migrant brigade marching down the street right outside my back fence in North San Antonio, Texas. He says, watched the redacted podcast from last week with Ben Berkwim. He's reporting that 2 to 4 million more are on the way between now and the end of February. My town is a festering mess, and it's too late. It's too late to be corrected. Not sure what to do at this point. Frustrating, angering, and depressing all at the same time. Well, I'm going to address your comments a couple of different ways, Mr. Music. Number one, when it comes to these people, the best you can do is just protect yourself in case shit gets out of hand. They're continuing to come north because they're continuing to be promised everything. Now understand, we've got migrants in Chicago freezing their asses off. Migrants all over the country freezing their asses off. They're not hearing about that in Mexico, south of Mexico, in other countries. They're being told that America is the land of plenty, that they're giving away houses, cars. Go there, start a family. They're giving it away now. America's for free. You get everything. And they're believing it. Now, in the coastal city in Mexico that I was in, the, shall I say, driver I had and his co-pilot, they said, look, these people that are going to America, they're not really Mexicans. He said there might be some in there, but for the most part, Mexicans love their country. And I actually enjoyed the shit out of the Mexicans as usual. As usual. Down in Mexico, up in America, I love Mexicans. These other people, folks, they're people being promised everything for free. They're people who are criminal. They are mixed with terrorists. They are the most worthless, untrained, unskilled dregs of the world being sent here, and they're coming up through Mexico. And that's what's going on. Now, where I was at, it was out of the way. It was not the northern route heading through Mexico. So I didn't have to see any of these people. They weren't a burden to the local economy, nor a burden to the local people. The local people where I was at were basically, they're supported and maintained by an influx of American and international money from tourism. So they were fine. And they love their country, folks. They love their country. The Mayan people, that was who, they try and model their lives after in some kind of positive fashion. That's their pride. They're proud to be Mexican. So why are these other people coming to America if Mexicans are so proud of being Mexican? It's because they're not really Mexican. There's something else. So your town, Chin Music, is a festering mess, and it's going to continue to be so. It's essentially your town is like the bunghole, right? It's being forced open to allow all kinds of shit to go through it. And that's essentially what's happening. You're going to be ruined, man. Your town is ruined. I don't know if it'll ever stop. What I do know is that Trump needs to win this coming election. He needs to win it, not because he's going to save America, but at least he can stop some of the worst things from coming that are still coming. And folks, who would I rather have as president? George Washington. Okay, but it's just not going to happen. And we're not going to get another great American candidate up here. Trump is what we got, so I'm focusing on Trump. Okay, I'm glad DeSantis just crapped all over gruesome Newsom, Gavin, the pile of shit from California governor in the debate. That was great. But it's not going to be Governor DeSantis versus whatever. In fact, the Democrats are losing their shit over Joe Biden. They want him out of there, but they don't have anyone to replace him with. Same problem they had, folks, in 2020. Who do they put up? Oh, shit, Joe Biden's as good as it gets. A doddering, lying, demented, old sexual pervert. That's the best the Democrats have. Look out. So my last word, I guess I could say in perhaps advice for everybody, whether you're up in the north, whether you're in the south, whether you're on the border, is we are at war with the deep state. The deep state is trying to destroy our country. The deep state is real, as admitted by Steny Hoyer, Democrat congressman scumbag. They're real. They're bringing up illegals to destroy our country. They're importing trash, terror, disease, drugs, crime, murder, etc. Right, the Chin Music's town, believe it or not, is overrun with MS-13, drugs. Prostitution is going to be out of control everywhere because of these people. That is how they make their money. They'll also start doing things like, collecting protection money, aka private taxes. Eventually, if they take control of these towns and regions, that can happen. Now, why doesn't the military go in there and clean that shit up? Well, that would work. If you stood the army on the west side of San Antonio and the Marines on the east side and marched them both towards the middle, the bottom of San Antonio would explode with people running for their lives from America in fear. But we don't have that, folks. It's not an open kind of war. It's more of a quiet kind of war. Terrorism. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Are you prepared up here to understand what war is being fought against? It's a war of attrition against the American spirit, against American pride, against the hardworking, tax-paying, God-fearing, flag-waving American. That's who this war is against. You. Uncle Sam, the deep state wants to destroy you. And that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to destroy us. So if we could put Chin Music's last comment back up there, he's got a couple of words there that I think are very important to discuss. This is a war not of bullets and bombs. It's a war of attrition. Attrition. They're doing their best to wear you down, to make you give up, to think that there's no way to win. It is frustrating. Part of the psychological battle is to frustrate the enemy. They think of us, you and me, as the enemy. So to frustrate them, and there's nothing you can do. That's frustrating. They want to anger you, and there's no way to assuage that anger. And they want to depress you. That is to wear you down, where you give up instead of keep fighting back. So many Americans haven't even started fighting. They have not even begun to fight. And they're being worn down. So don't give up, Chin Music. Don't give up, America. Understand the fight has just begun. It has just begun. Wars are not won overnight. Not with a smart bomb. Not with an assassination. Not with a guerrilla tactic invasion. Not with special forces. That's not what wins a war. What wins a war is determination, faith, dedication, and a belief system, a belief in America. That's what wins a war. Now, I want everyone to hit that thumbs up button, please. Hit the thumbs up here. Hit that internet address and share it with others. It is time to get this show rolling. And we've got a lot to talk about. Tons. If you've got something you want to talk about, of course, it is your show. Your show. So you hit that super chat button up here and you get to speak your mind. We'll put your question right here on the screen and get your thoughts out to everyone else's ear. And you, my friends, you do the work here. You help get other people recruited to the side of America. Freedom, liberty. And there's so many ways to speak out. You can do it in the comment section. You can send emails and text messages to friends and say, wake up. Listen to this and send that internet address. Send it out to others. Other ways that you support this channel. Other ways you support this channel are memberships. Thepreparedmind.club, subscribestar.com. Even on YouTube, there's memberships here on YouTube and super stickers, stuff like that. Jolene, do we got something like that rolling yet? I think we just might. There it is. Bioxo77 with a 99-cent super sticker. Thanks, Bioxo. All these things. And Bioxo says, speaking about pros, Bill Clinton is making news. LOL. Well, help me out, man. Tell me all about Billy. What is Billy Boy doing? Slick Willie, as he used to be called. I've kind of steered clear of his stuff. And also, I want to let everyone know, Michael Brown sent a 556 super chat donation in via CashApp. So now we've got, we've got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal donation. We've got a super sticker, and now we're going to start doing super chat donations and your questions. What do you want to talk about? What has pissed you off this week? What did you notice this week? What is your prediction this week? Prognostication. I've gotten a lot of messages from Mr. Skylight. We'll probably hear from him at some point today. But when Michael Brown, when he shows up in the comments, get his question, comment, thought up here as well. He's contributed this week to helping keep this channel rolling. And by that, I mean, just like everyone else, we got bills to pay. And they're trying to beat us down, just like Chin Music talked, demoralize us, wear us out, frustrate us, piss us off. They're trying to take all the money to support channels like this out. And you guys are keeping this channel alive. While big channels have fallen by the wayside, many have just given up. Oh, there's a huge fight going on, folks. A huge fight. And I think the left might be losing some of their traction. This story right here, I think, is very important. There's an actress, and I think her name is Busy Phillips, Bussy Phillips. I don't know what kind of name is that. Anyways, Elizabeth Phillips, right? Oh, her 15-year-old daughter, who thought she was LGBT gay, decided she's going to stop using the pronouns they and them. Now she's just going to be a she and her again. You know what I think? I think this LGB plus is just LG bullshit. Just a fad. And the kids are tired of it. That figures. That's what fads do. Fads come, fads go. This flat top has been here since 1986. It's only disappeared for a few short times in my life. Number one, when the Marine Corps shaved it bald, and for a few months after the Marine Corps. It got a little longer. But yeah, some things are fads, folks. Some things are here to stay. And the fight, as far as I'm concerned, is here to stay. But the left, they wound up the kids. They made the kids afraid of guns. And then they had the kids speak up against guns. And then they got the kids excited to defend the LGB folks and got them to, wound up on that. Now the kids are like, you know what? I'm tired of that shit. It doesn't make any sense, folks. When it doesn't make sense to kids, how can it make a lick of fucking sense to adults? Yet that is what the Democrats are all about. Isn't that fucking amazing? It truly is. What is going on? It's the way they're trying to take over this world. It's incredible. It really is what they're trying to do to America, what they're trying to do to the world. Where do we go next? Let's have some fun. While we're waiting for you, Super Chat donations to come on through, get filtered through, I've got something for you. You may have heard about this. There's a 9-year-old boy. He's a Chiefs fan. His name is Holden Armenta. Guess what? He went to a Chiefs game. That would be a football team. And a chief means leaders, right? Great warriors, chiefs. He painted one half of his face jet black, painted the other half dark red, wore an Indian headdress, apparently. And he was attacked. He was attacked by a journalist, an African-American journalist, who's also a hate-filled piece of shit named Karen Phillips. Not Karen, but Karen Phillips, right? And what did he want to do? He wanted to stir up hatred. He said, hey, this kid, this 9-year-old boy, right, culturally appropriated a couple of things. Now, I want to ask you, have you had enough of this woke shit? When the kids are giving it up, all this pronoun crap, and other kids are like, you know what? I'm going to wear makeup. I'm going to get all dressed. I'm an excited football fan. I think it's time to grow up. Is it time to grow up yet? Well, the idiot reporter, Karen Phillips, he doesn't want to wake up. He says, quote, it takes a lot to disrespect two groups of people all at once. But on Sunday afternoon in Las Vegas, a Kansas City Chiefs fan found a way to hate black people and the Native Americans at the same time. That's what that idiot, Karen Phillips, wrote. And then it turned out to be a big, giant whoops. This race baiting crap. I've had it with the race baiting crap. Anyways, so the kid turned out to be an actual Native American. So wearing red. Now, he didn't try and make himself look like some sort of 200, 300-year-old ancient Indian. He painted himself red, as in red paint. Not redskin, red paint. But he is a Native American. Is it okay then? Is it okay now? Right? Oh, by the way, I was born here in America too, and everything. So does that make me a native? Oh, you mean he has indigenous ancestry. That's why. Okay, anyways, it's okay. Does that make it okay to wear face paint? And then folks, also, yeah, the other side he painted black. Black is midnight. Now, if it was blue, green, or some non-human color, that paint is okay to wear on your face, right? Black, yellow, right? red makes it racist to wear? Because that is the name applied to describe human skin color, which of course they actually aren't. Blacks are shades of brown. Yellow is not correct to describe Asians, nor is red to describe indigenous Americans, unless you were recently badly sunburned. And so I could actually be a true redskin and have been. Not this time, though, folks. I got a little pink going, but no red. Anyways, enough of the color bullshit. I think we should judge by the content of our character, not the color of skin or the color of skin or the color of skin, right? I'm going to get upset because someone put paint. He didn't try and make himself look like a African Aboriginal or an American Aboriginal. He looked like a football fan is what he fucking looked like. Now, the so-called racism that is suggested by applying paints, decorations, clothing style, ornamentation in your head, that's what triggers these left fucking morons. I say keep doing it. If they want to get triggered by that, be triggered by it. You should do what you want. Now, I do have a special note. Blackface is the use of dark makeup to mimic and exaggerate the features of black people in order to ridicule them. I found that all of that black face is not black paint. Blackface is actually brown face, trying to paint yourself the color of some culture. Now, in India, the country of India, not American Indians, country of India, there are people there who are very, very, very dark. There are people of Arab descent, Middle Eastern descent, right? Whatever that race is to be called. Well, they're very dark, can be very dark. You know, and then there's sub-Saharan African. They can be very, very dark. Some Central and South Americans can be very, very dark. Who gives a shit? Right? Anyways, this kid, this fan, this football fan's face is painted red and black to support the Kansas City Chiefs. This actually came from this same thing that talked about how wearing blackface ridicules them. I mean, if someone painted themselves white, it was ridiculing me. I couldn't give a fuck. In fact, congratulations. If you can look this white and make it through the day, enjoy yourself. Wow. The joke just occurred to me, and so I inhaled my drink there. Yeah. You dress like this all day, walk around. Everyone, all they're going to do is start asking you for money and taxing the fuck out of you. Funny shit. Anyways, face paint, popular practice at NFL games, not related to blackface or ridiculing anyone who is a minority. This, folks, is part of our culture war that's being fought. Culture war that's being fought. Now, there's an important piece here. Once again, get your super chat questions all lined up because we're going to be getting to them pretty quick here. But I want to talk about something that really is, right? There was a culture clash here in 2020. Culture clash in 2020. When Black Lives Matter, a homosexual, communist, Marxist, subversive terrorist organization decided to go to the streets because St. George Floyd was dead. He wasn't murdered. He died. He had a fatal dose of fentanyl in his system, and he died from it. But anyways, cop got blamed for it. White people got blamed for it. American culture got blamed for it. We all got blamed for it. Whether you're black or white, we all got blamed for it. It's all our fault. Anyways, they took their Black Lives Matter slogan. And of course, Black Lives Matter. How can they not? Hell, people go, you don't hurt dogs, you don't hurt cats, you don't be mean to animals. Animal lives matter. Hell, bacteria matter. Everything matters. Anyways, in Ireland, after those children were stabbed by an Algerian criminal, stabbed him with knives, attempted murder. That guy. The Irish threw a giant fit, not because the guy that stabbed him was Algerian, but because they are unwashed, uncivilized immigrants. And so one of the things the Irish did was protest. And then they actually got out of hand and had some rioting going on. I guess that's what happens, right? It's supposed to be acceptable. But the slogan, Irish Lives Matter, and I ain't shitting you folks, Irish Lives Matter. Irish Lives Matter showed up. And it's considered racist to say that. In fact, in Northern Ireland, police are investigating any of that, any use of the terms as a hate crime. Right? Because someone painted Irish Lives Matter. And they said, quote, "We are treating the matter as a hate incident." Right? If you want stupidity, folks, satire, look at the comparability of slogans here. BLM is all over the planet asking for money and threatening to shut down corporations. When you ask for money with a threat, isn't that extortion? Anyways, but if you say someone else's lives matter, well, that's racist and it's a hate crime. That is how stupid this world is. Now, it is time. We're up to 366 people live. Everyone who just showed up, hit the thumbs up button, share that internet address with everybody, and let's get into some of your questions. It is now time for some super chats. You hit that button up there, super chat donation, get your question down here, and you get to take the show into your direction, and we'll talk about what it is you have on your mind. We've got Michael Rondo with a $2 super sticker. Thank you, Michael, very much. Question, go ahead and throw it up to Jolene. Comment, thought, prediction, prognostication, what have you. Let's talk all about it. Okay, thank you, Michael. I don't see a question popping up, but Chin Music is back with a huge $19.99 super chat donation. Oh, shit, here we go. Chin Music writes, you think it's going to be Gavin bang your wife? Gavin Count Chocula? Gavin any twosome Newsome? Or will bareback Obama's husband, a.k.a. Big Mike? Which one of those will be the presidential candidate for the Democrat Party in 2024? That's the big question here. And I'm going to answer it with my prognostication. Truly. Now, first off, let's talk about Gavin Gruesome Newsom from California. Bang Your Wife is Gavin Newsom's wife who screwed Harvey Weinstein. Apparently, reputedly, allegedly, possibly, probably, whatever. That's where that comes from. Count Chocula, and then any twosome Newsome. In other words, they're a bunch of sexual perverts and freaks. They just are. And then, of course, there's bareback Obama's husband, Big Mike, Michelle Obama. And I wonder whose kids they adopted. A lot of people ask that question. Where did they adopt those kids? Because last time I checked, 2 penises do not make a baby. So, I think it's going to be Michelle Obama. I do. I think they're going to play that card. They've floated Gavin Newsom for weeks. Well, they've wanted him to kind of cure up, step up, look more presidential, sound more presidential. They've been working on refining him for months. Now, they did that, if you remember, with Barry Soetoro. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama. They picked on him a little, and he whined and cried like a bitch. Oh, why are you picking on me, man? I'm the right. They picked on little Barack. They said, hey, we're just trying to toughen you up for the debates. You're going to have to debate other Democrats, and then you have to debate those Republicans. Right? We need a clean, articulate black guy, right? Joe Biden, I think that was Joe Biden that said that about Barack. Oh, he's a clean, articulate black man. Well, as if that's not common. I mean, the way the Democrats treat blacks is just fucking unbelievable. Anyways, Gavin Newsom has had a chance to straighten up, to look presidential, and he went up against Governor DeSantis in a debate and got hammered. He tried going into some OT, some overtime debate stuff. And the shit map of San Francisco, I found particularly interesting that Governor DeSantis pointed out. He said, look at this map, right? And all these places where crap is found all over San Francisco. And he says, well, you have a communist dictator show up to your state and you clean the streets of San Francisco up, no problem. But for the people of California, you can't, you won't, you refuse. Beautifully done. Now, Governor DeSantis is a great governor. No doubt. No doubt. And no politician is perfect. I get it. And I don't give a fuck. He's a great governor. Anyone that says otherwise, you try it, motherfucker, and see how you hold up to the pressure, the stress. Okay. Governor DeSantis has done a great job. We all know it. Same with Governor Abbott in Texas. They may not be as Republican, libertarian, independent. They may not be as George Washington as I am, damn it. But hey, they're trying, okay? So we need to keep encouraging them for one, insisting they do more for us too, and hold their fucking feet to the fire with emails, phone calls, etc. Now, Governor DeSantis wiped the floor with Newsom. And Governor DeSantis has not done well in the Republican primaries. But he wiped the floor with Gavin Newsom. Gavin sucks. In fact, I believe his wife, Whiny Weinstein, right, she had to throw in the towel. He's embarrassed himself. He's a joke. But don't worry, the Democrats lied and lied to themselves and lied to their people and said, he did great. He did great. It's okay. He did great. I don't think he did great. The American people have had it with these fucking idiots, the leftists. They need a good liar. And that's really what Gavin Newsom is good at, lying. Completely, truly lying. That's what he's good at. But when you present facts, evidence, that tends to make people question what's going on. And Governor DeSantis did a great job of showing exactly what kind of idiot he is. I don't think he's going to stand up. They'll let him run for a while, but I think somewhere between 6 months and 3 months, they'll bring in Big Mike. Big Bed Mike. He's going to bring his big woman bulge up there, that pissed off, grunchy, grouchy, ugly ass face, and that all the temerity, all the hubris, all the arrogance of Democrat hypocrite bullshit lies right on in. And I think she's going to barrel in there with two blazing biceps and a set of balls that would make a feral hog go, damn. Right? And I think they'll bring in Big Mike because she's black, because she's a she. And don't you dare question if she's not a she. Right? And she's an attorney. Hasn't she been disbarred? Or she was forced to resign or promised never to practice law? I wonder why that is. We're going to ask those fucking questions. Will Michelle Obama produce a birth certificate? In order to get a fucking driver's license in this country, you've got to produce a real birth certificate. You do. In order to get a driver's license, you have to produce a real birth certificate. Yet Barack can become president without one, and it's required for that. Probably a little more important to have one of those to be president than it is to have one of those to drive a fucking car. But, and I digress. I'm not done with chin music, by the way. I'm sorry I'm going a little long on everything. I'm excited to be back with you guys. I'm very excited. We're over 400 people live. We've got a shit ton of stuff to talk about. Lots of super chats coming. And it's shit hitting the fan all over the place, folks. Not to mention the return of the Jim Jones juice and the why the fuck did my heart stop beating news articles. Okay, now, where was I at? Oh, yeah. You only need a birth certificate to get a driver's license in this country if you're from this country. If you're from another country, don't fucking worry about it. They'll give you all the fake IDs you need and send you on your way. Now, Chin Music says, it won't be America's corpse. His fake quote, I'm still spry, jog cracks me up and can't be unseen. That's correct, folks. The young and the spry. Gavin Newsom. Oh, anyways, that's enough of that. I don't even want to think about Big Mike jogging and all the bulges. Funny, his boobs don't move, but his nether regions do joggle a bit. Okay, let us roll on. Thank you, Chin Music. Jolene, ooh man, who wants to step up next? We're at 426 people live. I'd love to hit 500 again. If you're just checking in, thumbs up. If you're just checking in, share that internet address. And now it's time for Diorce, the Deer Horseman, just in time for Christmas. Someone, Diorce, you need to get your Diorce avatar. Hang some Christmas, some Christ Mass ornamentation on there. Anyways, he says, message not sent. Edit and try again. What the fuck does that mean? Message not sent. Edit and try again. I'm gonna keep doing the message. I really wish I knew what you meant by that. Is that the message you would like to post, Diorce? Okay, that's what the prepared mother, Jolene. She's trying to let Diorce know that that's not the message. Sounds like Diorce sent a message that was probably too long for the too long. I'll tell you what, Diorce, why don't we do this? Why don't we elaborate, please? We're up to 430 people live and going still, heading up. So let's do the next super chat, and then we'll take a look at Diorce again. Hey, and it's Dude, seriously, with a $2 super chat donation. Dude, he says, I'm back in the saddle again. That is good to hear. Good to see you, man. Seriously, dude. Good to have you back here, man. It's been a while since we heard from you. Okay. Thank you again. If you've got something to say, something about history, the future, what's happening now, specific groups like BLM, Antifa, the National Rifle Association, the Supreme Court. This is Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo where we bring together YouTube, the preparedmind.club, and subscribestar.com. We get all of our members together, and we have a great talk open to everybody. But if you have something to say, you got to hit the super chat button, and then we'll get you on the screen. And then we're going to roll, folks. Then it just gets better. Now, we've seen an incredible effort by the Democrats out there, folks, to destroy this country. But it's not just this country that's being taken down. It's the whole world. We're going to discuss that in just a bit. But for now, we've got another super chat donation right here. And it is Chin Music. Oh, he's got a public service announcement. Just a little PSA. He says, for you transplants to Texas, it's not wise to put those stupid reindeer horns on your car and drive around during hunting season. Thank you again, Chin Music. That's right. There are some old-fashioned Texans who will shoot anything with antlers. Now, thank you, Chin Music. I appreciated that, man. That was good. All right. Now, in America, we have seen what? We have seen an attempt to take over the country by Antifa, BLM, some, I don't even know what the hell to call them, but they were a group of African-American militants who wanted the United States government to give them the state of Texas as reparations for whatever. Well, I mean, obviously it's because their great great-grandparents may have been slaves. Anyway, so they thought they should be given Texas. All of these groups came out, and they tried different ways to take control of the government. They even claimed that they had the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, right, in Seattle. They just declared themselves independent of the country, and they sat down and they formed a government, and they made white people do gardening for them. It was ridiculous. Anyways, they have all these strange ways to take over areas. Well, down in the country of Nicaragua, which is south of Mexico, north of Panama, to give you an idea, a general direction, they have weaponized not race, not skin color. They have politically weaponized not food, nor water. They didn't even weaponize weapons, folks. They weaponized beauty. Beauty. Oh, there's a weapon, right? Us guys know all about the power of beauty. Anyways, the director of the Miss Nicaragua beauty contest, beauty pageant, the director, he's been charged with treason, right? Now get this. How do you go from beauty pageant director to treasonous bastard? Well, they're claiming, the government is, that the the director rigged the beauty pageant in an effort to overthrow the government. That's right, folks. He's literally being charged with that because he was rigging the election so that anti-government beauty pageant contestants won, and that they had an shall we say, Nicaragua message. And they were stirring up negative sentiment. They were causing protests. People were bringing out the old or other Nicaraguan flag. In other words, they were using the beauty pageant contestants to rile up the public. Isn't that incredible? Number one, it's hard to believe that that was working, yet it did. No wonder Washington, D.C. and the FBI are so afraid of parents and churches because, hell, you can take over a country with a beauty pageant. Imagine what will happen if you actually have people with jobs and money and giving a shit, and that aren't, shall we say, naively just, beauty pageant up here we make a joke out of them. I would like world peace and everybody should get along, right? That's how would you change the world, right? Now I know a lot of these women actually have college educations. They're very educated, but they get asked stupid questions. But here we are. That's the world we live in. We laugh about it. Down there, they took it as a serious political message coming from beauty contest winners. They would follow a beauty contest winner into a political fray. No wonder the FBI fears you. Right? Anybody who is popular with the public, I guess, can turn the country against a corrupt government. No wonder they hate the Prepared Mind channel. That's right. I got the American flag here. Got the Marine Corps emblem here. Right? I could turn the country against Joe Biden, apparently, so they've got to keep us all down. Isn't that ridiculous? That's how afraid they are, folks, of moral, decent people like you. They're afraid of you and what you can do. That's why I encourage you, hit that address right up there and share it with others, because you can make people wake up. You have credibility, believability, right? You've worked hard your whole life. People know you're not full of shit. Use your credibility to help yourself and to help others you care about. Wake them the fuck up. Weaponized beauty. When I read that, at first I thought it was a joke. Then it turns out, holy shit, that's not a joke. It is real. And that's some scary stuff. It truly is pretty darn scary. As far as I'm concerned, Pretty darn scary. And now, folks, to the Pfizer files. What? Oh, welcome back. Had a little dissension in the Prepared Mind studio. Some beauty pageant contestants were over there fighting with each other. Anyways, the Pfizer files. In New Zealand, are you aware of this? The health minister there, he's been arrested. The health minister, well, at least a health ministry employee, has been arrested. What do you think about the Jim Jones juice making a comeback? Is it possible? Yes. But is it continuing to get a black eye? Yes. Yes. If you've got something you want to say about the Jim Jones juice and you hit the super chat button, I'll address it. Got to use code words, though, folks. Anyways, this whistleblower who worked for the health ministry, he had his home raided and he was arrested by the police because he exposed deaths that were linked to, well, batches of Jim Jones juice. Obviously, they're bad batches. Obviously, something's not quite right. Something doesn't smell right? Something's rotten in Denmark. You bet, folks. This is continuing to plague the world. New Zealand health minister employee, done. How dare you tell the truth? How dare you blow the whistle? How dare you expose the sham? Folks, nothing has happened to any of these people. A few people have gone to jail. A couple of people in Pfizer and some other pharmaceutical companies gone. But I can't even say what needs to be said, or they'll remove this video. They'll silence me right now if I told you all about the Jim Jones juice and what it's doing to people. They are busy removing videos on the backup channels for the Prepared Mind. Here on the main Prepared Mind channel, they're busy. They're using AI to do it. They truly are. They're using AI to remove videos, to silence you, to silence me. It finds one word they don't like, they remove the whole thing. Now, they're not giving me strikes. Fascinating, they're not giving me strikes. So they're just removing the video, saying, medical misinformation. Oh, and I got one over the weekend. I got back from my trip, and there it is. A big red fucking label on an email. Bam! From YouTube. You talked about a dangerous conspiracy theory. Oh, really? A dangerous conspiracy? You know what the most dangerous thing about the danger of conspiracy theories is? Is we're almost out of conspiracy theories. That's the danger. Someone may have to start making up some new shit because so many conspiracy theories have been proven 100% correct. Therefore, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. We're almost out of them. There's a shortage of conspiracy theories, in fact. These fucking people. All right. That was tasty. That was good, but it was not as good as a Glenfiddich 18. That is a fine bottle of scotch right there, folks. Woo! And I want to thank you guys for buying that for me. Now, we do have another super chat donation. Let's get to it. Who has something to say? It is Nancy Cagg checking in with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Nancy. And she says, John, your voice was missed. Welcome home. Anything on the volcanoes going on around the world? Yes, of course. Oh, you bet. Now, I was missed. And folks, I really missed the show. I did. I tried relaxing, and then thoughts would occur to me. Like, I got to talk about this. And I was like, oh, I was in a, well, if I wasn't busy, I was busy, or I was busy, and I didn't have access to the internet because of the security of the situation. Now, enough said on that. We'll just leave it at that. It would have been a pain in the ass anyways, and I didn't really. Anyways, enough of that. I'm back. I'm back. In fact, tomorrow morning, it'll be 0 dark 30. Yes, it will. So, volcanoes going on around the world. If one volcano explodes, we're like, hey, volcanoes. If 2 volcanoes explode, erupt, spew lava, earthquakes, should we be concerned? Well, what if there's three volcanoes that explode? Does that mean that they're using directed energy weapons? Does that mean God is mad? Does that mean anything? Well, it probably means there's some sort of geophysical processes going on under the planet. There's more pressure. So it doesn't surprise me when one goes and then two and three, right? Whatever forces cause volcanoes, it would be more surprising if only one went here and one went there. It almost makes more sense for me that they erupt in batches. But how can we ever truly know if they really are, folks, using ground penetrating radar or injected explosive chemicals or directed energy weapons, right? How would we know? Where's our real evidence? And on top of everything else, government lies, Nancy. We'll never get the truth out of government. And the moment we do get the truth, we're going to question it anyway, because it's going to be so unfucking believable that we would never believe it in the first place, right? That's the trick. Government lies. I wish there was a penalty for lies out of the government. I wish that anyone who lied could be charged with a crime up to treason very quickly and sent to prison or executed as liars. That would be fabulous. How many problems would we have in our government? I ask you. You can tell me what you think, super chat donation. How many people would say, I'm quitting my job, or I'm not saying a fucking word? Right? Who would want to be a spokesperson or sign their name on a government paper if they could be held accountable for what they say? Well, it's kind of interesting. Susan Sarandon, actress extraordinaire at one point and one time, super hottie, she has now apologized for making anti-Jewish remarks at a public rally. That's right. She came out and she joined the side of Hamas, the Palestinians, the Gaza gurus of hatred and anger. That's right. She was putting down Israel and saying, yeah, they should be terminated. The country should be destroyed, etc. But, right, her agency dumped her, right? An actress getting her parts in movies or commercials or whatever. And she says she made, quote, a terrible mistake. So she was sorry she got in trouble. Sorry. But does she still want the Israelis murdered by terrorists until they're wiped off the face of the planet? Is that what she still thinks? We know she's sorry. Of course she's sorry. Now let's say this. If neocon Israelis are the real problem here, and I want to kind of take this in a different direction. If they're the real problem, why not name names and go after those particular neocons and their homes, their businesses? Why do we have to blame all the Israelis or blame all the Jews and say they all need to be wiped off the face of the planet? Why don't the bad guys or the terrorists, if they're such good guys, why do they attack civilians instead of those, right, that they want to attack? The real issue is they want to kill all the Israelis, all the Jews. But if we know that there's a small political group controlling everything, if they believe that conspiracy theory, why don't they go after them instead of being apologists for terror and supporting terror? If the neocons are in charge of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, and they're slaughtering the Palestinians, why not name the names of the people in charge and go after them? Why do they want to kill all the Israelis, in other words, if it's just the neocons? Just the Zionists. Okay? Neocon, Zionist, neocon, those are right. It's a fucking pea and shell game to blame others and justify murder. And here's the thing, folks. This is a game that is played by all sides. That is why we are in an SHTF scenario. All the governments lie. All the governments blame others. All the governments, folks, tell us one thing to justify their actions elsewhere. They take incredible amounts of effort and time to lie to justify their murder, their invasions, their taxes, their laws, their rules. Isn't that interesting? I wanted to tie all that together. Someone get a hold of Jen Psaki. That's called circling back, right? And now I'm going to move forward. You can get your super chat donations in, so your questions come on board. But I want to tie one more string to this SHTF mess. Voldemort Hitler Zelensky, El Presidente of Ukraine. He has now forbidden the former president from leaving the country. That's right, folks. Ex-President Poroshenko is no longer allowed to leave Ukraine. Zelensky, Hitler Zelensky, midget, light in the loafers, skinny jeans wearing fruitcake of a president who has sent his people to the front lines to be slaughtered for over a year now. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Ukrainians every month go to the front line to be killed. That's called genocide. Now, month one, maybe they thought they would win. Month two, maybe they were hoping they could win. Month three, they were like going, can we win? Month four, they got to know they're not going to win. Yet they've continued to send their people there by the thousands to die. And that's not genocide? That because it's your own president, it's not a war crime to send you to the jaws of death? And Zelensky has shut down criticism from congressmen or rather parliament. He shut down criticism from newspapers and reporters. He shut down criticism from the church. And now, folks, he's forbidding President Poroshenko, former President Poroshenko, because he is, quote, a tool in the hands of the Russians. How appropriate is that? Sounds like Joe Biden. Sounds like Nancy Pelosi. Sounds like Chuck Schumer. Sounds like Hillary Clinton, right? You demonize your critics. You accuse them of what you yourself are doing. It's called projection. I think Zelensky is a tool of the Russians. Well, hell, why not? Why not make that claim? Putin has become much more wealthy. Russia has become much more wealthy. Russia has become more powerful. Russia has hurt the West and hurt all of Europe because NATO, the United States government in Washington, D.C., not us Americans, but the government, and, well, United Kingdom, who is not part of the European Union, but they're part of NATO, they have continued to push and push and push and drive against Russia. And Zelensky's like, fine, we'll go after Russia and make them more powerful and more wealthy, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I don't really think that Zelensky is just a tool being pushed in everyone's anuses. No. He's demonized his critics. He's terrorized his own people. He has thrown his political and personal enemies in prison, if not executed. Yay, Zelensky. That's where we're at, folks. Now, enough of what I have to say. Let's get into what you want to talk about. Super chat time right here. We're 1 hour into the show, cruising on to 2 hours. As long as we've got your questions, your super chat donations, I'll stay right here talking to you guys, and I'm back. It is zoo time. It is Sunday Night Live. Jolene, who wants to step up? It is Diorce with another 556 super chat donation. And he says, the message that I would like to send keeps getting auto-blocked. I sent it to Uman. It is not the message not sent. Please try again. Here is the message from Diorce, passed along by Mr. Uman. And he says, it's edited for censorship reasons. That's right. That's right. YouTube does not want you to talk about topics that they don't like. That could be misinformation, disinformation, a dangerous conspiracy theory, medical misinformation. Bullshit. Okay. So what he says is maybe some biffity-two bammers drop conventional on Gaza, and level the strip mall. Some HD stuff to destroy the tunnels. Now I'm going to translate. I think Dior's is trying to say, what do you think of the idea of some airplanes, very large ones called B-52s, carpet bombing the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and level it? Now, to destroy the tunnels, you need some MOABs, some mother of all bombs, some deep penetration bombs, etc., to destroy the tunnels. Now, the deal is I am no friend or lover of terrorists or terrorist organizations or people. I feel really bad for people who are forced to live under terrorism. You know, they live in an area where they're outnumbered by terrorists, where terrorists demand that they pay protection money, where terrorists force them to help, to assist, to even supply, shall we say, sons and daughters to become terrorist fighters. I feel really bad for people like that. At the same time, I would do everything I could to get the fuck away. Everything I could do to get the fuck away from that. I got the fuck away from California, folks, where the governor there, Governor Gavin Newsom, Count Chocula, pound his pud, that little bastard who tried burning my city down. Didn't quite make it to my city, but he burned other cities down in Northern California. He allowed them to burn down. He's a giant douchebag, right? I got the hell away from him eventually. Talk about scorched earth. Anyways, I would like to see the terrorists defeated. I would like to see them decidedly defeated. I don't like terrorism, and I don't like terrorists because they kill civilians. War, folks, in a traditional sense. War, right? Government, military organization. You're supposed to go out and fight other governments and their military organizations, their armies, their Marines, their navies, etc. You wear uniforms so the enemy can identify you and differentiate between you and the civilian population. Now, is there collateral damage? Are civilians killed in war? Yes. Civilians get caught in the middle, they get cut and blown to ribbons and pieces. That's war. It's ugly as hell. But when you intentionally and purposefully target civilians, it's wrong. And I don't care whether we're talking about any country on the planet, right? Whether it's up in the Balkans during the 90s, when we had all those bad guys up there, you know, killing civilians. And that was basically a religious war also, folks. That was Muslims versus Catholics, or Christians, if you will. Right? And that's when we first started hearing the word genocide all the time. Right? We got bad leaders and names named. And then we also had the same sort of thing happening, well, in Syria. Again, Muslims versus Christians. Big killing going on. And we got the same thing here, right? It's once again, it's a holy war. It's a religious war. And these people decide that they're going to kill civilians. It's wrong. Who's supposed to stop them, though? It's not going to be the United Nations, right? Is it right for America to go get involved? Well, we're supposed to be the moral leaders. I guess you could make a moral argument for stepping in to defend the defenseless, those without a defense. But Gaza, right, is the one who repeatedly attacks, or rather Hamas, hiding in Gaza, attacks the Israelis through terrorist actions. And I don't appreciate them at all. I don't respect or in any way approve or admire them. Now, should we carpet bomb the living shit and bomb the tunnels out of them? Well, Don't you think the Israelis should take care of that if they're the true problem and they're the ones suffering from the terrorism? In other words, if if something were bombed and blown to pieces here in America by a terrorist organization, we should retaliate in kind. Kill one of ours, we kill 10 of yours. That's war. But see, it's not a government and it's not a military organization. It's a terrorist organization. And they're going to hide the way Hamas does in hospitals, churches, schools, and behind the skirts of women and children. That's what they do. They're cowards. They're chicken shits. Hey, and they're doing everything they can to get their point across and kill as many of the people they don't love. They are, folks, as a people, initiated into and indoctrinated into hatred of Israelis and Jews as young people in Palestine. They are. They are radicalized from a very early age to where they will be suicide bombers. Isn't that crazy? Now, I can't imagine growing up in a world that is so desperate and so angry and so full of hatred for another group of people that all you can do is think of killing them. That's what we got. Now, the worst part of all this for us as Americans, or for you as Europeans, is our countries have imported these radical, wacko screwballs, and they're all over the world. They've exported them out of these jihadi states in the Middle East, North Africa, and sent them to America. They've sent them into Asia. They've sent them into Europe. And now we have this crap. We have this crap. I think it would behoove America to clean itself up right now and go out and arrest all these illegals and send them home. And go through social media, go through newspapers, go through everything there is, and get every one of these fuckers who has said anything about America or their love for Hamas or their hatred for Israel and kick them right the fuck out of the country and say, name the country you want, that's where you're going. And say it's Tunisia. Say it's Libya. And Libya's like, you can't land. You're not going to land here and drop those people back off. I say, don't worry. We're not going to drop them off. We're going to throw them out of the fucking airplane with a parachute. You don't have to worry about us landing our planes on your precious crap soil, but you're going to take your trash back. How hard is that? Oh, it'll be difficult. But don't you think it'll change the fucking tone of these people who are in our country, living off of our money, our hard work, our infrastructure? Folks, that's why it's shit hitting the fan. It's hit the fan. It's here now. It is here. Now, if America could clean up its own act, Mr. Dior's, we could stand on moral high ground and say, we don't allow terrorism in America. We don't allow the support of terrorism here in America. And as such, we will not allow terrorism to take advantage of weak people like the civilian population in Palestine. And we're going to go in there and clean it the fuck up before it becomes the problem it is today in the year 2023, the month of December. But see, this work should have started back in the early 1980s, the 1970s, when they first started this multi-generational hatred of an entire people. Folks, it has hit the fan and it's not going to get better. What I have prescribed or talked about in theory is not going to happen. Instead, we're going to face our own Hamas, our own Hezbollah, our own Antifa, BLM terrorism in this country. Yes, they will. For example, well, I talked about Ireland. Irish Lives Matter. I've talked about Ireland. Where is our good buddy Vince from Belfast, Ireland? What does he think of this? Right. Well, how about this? In the Philippines, 4 were killed at Catholic Mass by an Islamic terror attack. Once again, folks, once again, Israelis killing civilians. Oh, no, wait, sorry, I got it backwards. It's always jihadis who are attacking other religions and other peoples. So it's not just the U.S. or Europe, Ireland, America. It doesn't matter. These people are everywhere trying to kill us. Literally. And get this, folks, even our own government has some serious issues, right? Kamala Harris, right? Dirty knee Kamala. She has gone after Israel over the Hamas war. She says too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Quote, Vice President of the United States, too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Well, by who, Kamala? By the Israelis or by Hamas itself? Hamas has killed too many innocent Palestinians? Just a question, just asking. So, Kamala, if too many have died or been killed, what is the acceptable number of innocent Palestinians that can be killed? Give me a number, please. If so far too many have died, what is the number that's acceptable? Well, and moreover, do the elderly or children rank higher as being unacceptable than regular people, say between the ages of 15 and 55? Right? So can you kill more regular people and less children? And is that how that works, Kamala? Is 1,500 innocent Palestinians a safe number to kill? Well, over 1,500 Israelis were slaughtered, and Democrats are good with that. Right? Folks, they're going to start doing that in this country. The attacks are going to start. They will persist. They will spread. Are you prepared? Your area, pow, right there on the map. The 10-mile perimeter around that. That's the world we basically live in. The area that you live in is the area you could walk in one day, 10 miles in any direction. You probably work in that 10-mile circle. Who is in that circle? What people? What do they believe? What is their socioeconomic condition they live under? They have good jobs and money? Are they run down and poor? Are they religious, moral people? Are they a bunch of decadent freaks? I almost said the name of a couple of cities there, but I'll leave them out of this for now, right? Over 1,500 Israelis were slaughtered, and Democrats, they're good with that. In fact, they encourage it. They try not to say it too loudly, but they've been caught. They've apologized. Oh, sorry, I said that. Didn't mean to get caught. But they're encouraging this attitude. And the president of the United States, or rather the vice president, the presidential administration, is trying to, well, support Hamas while not supporting Hamas. Here's another example, folks. At the Columbia University, pro-Hamas activists showed up because Hillary Clinton was there walking by. And they started shouting, Hillary, Hillary, you can't hide. That's right, folks. Beware, you communists out there. These terrorists are everywhere. These terrorists don't give a shit if you're a communist or a fascist. They hate you because, folks, they think you are responsible for the bloodshed because you support Israel. Whether you're a fascist, a communist, a socialist, it doesn't matter. They're blaming people like Hillary. Hillary will not be able to hide, folks. All Democrats are exposed. And a little bit of bullshit support for Hamas and a little bullshit talk against Israel is not going to save Kamala or Hillary or anyone else. It's going to get nasty. Now, we got more to go with, folks. We got more to talk about. Let's get to your questions, your comments, your thoughts. Super chat donation coming right up. It is Chester Wolf the Griffin with a $5 super chat. He says, imagine a system that's so well put together that everybody in the world hates it except the people who put together. Right? The World Economic Forum, the New World Order, and demon offspring. Yeah. That's who they are, folks. They've got a system, a worldwide system that everyone hates for different reasons. Trust me, for different reasons. So I am no fan of the World Economic Forum or the New World Order and their demonic offspring. Apparently, The average person doesn't like these people that say you'll eat the bugs and you'll like it. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. The people in Gaza, Palestine, well, they're basically in an open air prison that was created by the World Economic Forum and the New World Order. Right? They hate it. And around the world, they're looking around going, well, who do we blame? Of course, they blame the Jews, right? Oh, bad Jews, bad Jews, bad Jews. But they're now going after Kamala. They're going after Hillary. They're going after Joe Biden. And they're saying, you guys have blood on your hands. You're part of this control system, this World Economic Forum, New World Order bullshit. Folks, they're all starting to wake up. And they're starting to point at the same people that we have been pointing at. World leadership in politics. They're being exposed. They're going to have to shut the system down. They are not going to like what's going on. You bet, folks. Now, let's have some more fun. What else do you guys want to talk about? Thank you, Chester Wolf. Appreciate the great support on that super chat donation. Who's up next? It is Dude Seriously again with $5 super chat donation. He hit that button, pledged some money, bam, takes care of the channel, make sure we're good. Here's his question. He says, the head guy in office in El Salvador apparently put away 65,000 MS-13 into prison. Also, what are your thoughts about the new guy in Argentina? Now, they have some massive prisons in Central America, folks, in El Salvador. Yeah. And these guys that you show in the pictures, these MS-13 guys, they're tatted up, folks. Not just their arms and their chests and their back, but their fucking necks, their throat, their face, the top of their head, the back of their head, the side of their head. They're covered in tattoos. Not all of them, but most of them. They're complete. They've got nothing going for them. So they pledge loyalty to a gang. A gang. Now, someone might say, John, you pledged loyalty to that gang over there, right? No, I pledge loyalty to the United States Constitution, to serving my fellow man, to protecting my country and my family and my people. Not to be a gang member, to murder, to terrorize, to sell drugs, to kidnap and rape women. That's not, see, there's a big difference. Don't let the lies fool you. Those lies are out there. They truly are. Trying to equate like MS-13 to freedom fighters for their own country's bullshit. And they've been thrown in prison. 65,000 of them in El Salvador, says Dude, seriously. Good. Now, I think they ought to look at these people. And folks, I've got no use for terrorism. I've got no use for terrorists. Whether they're religiously terrorizing people or whether they're terrorizing them in the name of money. And a lot of religions are about money anyways, aren't they? Every one of these terrorist leaders who claims jihad, aloha snack bar, they're millionaires, if not billionaires. Millionaires, and many of them are even billionaires. Aloha snack bar, flying around in private jets, living the good life. You bet. So these people that pledge support for, jihad or MS-13, they serve no purpose. They cannot be rehabilitated. Would you turn a rabid dog loose? No, it's a rabid dog. It goes and it kills other dogs. It kills cats. It'll kill people. You put down rabid dogs. Sorry to say. They cannot be fixed. They cannot be healed. MS-13 are rabid dogs. Jihadis, rabid dogs. But again, we can't do anything about these other countries until we clean up our own. And folks, we've got a lot of house cleaning to do. Thank you, Dude. Seriously, great topic. We'll have to keep revisiting it as shit continues to hit the fan as the world turns. And next, kapow, we've got Mr. Skylight checking in. Thank you for showing up, Mr. Skylight. I always enjoy your, doggone it, 1 second here, your thoughts. He says, little message just came through. Quote, good judgment comes from experience. And a lot of that comes from bad judgment. And that is from the great philosopher and satirist, Will Rogers, also called a humorist, etc. It is true. Think about it. Good judgment, or rather the ability to make good decisions, comes from experience, meaning you've made decisions and you've learned which is good and which is bad. So a lot of the good judgment comes from bad judgment, meaning you should learn from experiences where you made the wrong decision. Now, what's interesting is normal humans do just that. Thank you, Mr. Skylight. While people like Hillary Clinton continue to do bad things because their experience has been that they, do bad things and they benefit from them. And so they do more bad things to ensure that they keep benefiting from the other bad things they did. And ultimately, they become despised, awful human beings. Like Hillary, like Joe Biden, like all of the scumbags who are in charge of countries around the world. All right, let's continue if we shall. We've got lots to go. And we're actually increasing in viewers as we go into hour 2 at 90 minutes in. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't done it already. Share that internet address. This has never happened before, folks, where we're at 90 minutes in the show and we're continuing to get more people live. That's fucking awesome. Let's do it. Super chat donation coming up. We got Mama Mag with a $5 super chat. He says, it's Mama T-Mag. I can read. Awesome. It's Mama T-Mag. And where do you think the line is between Mad Max and Captain Caveman? Well, here's what I have to say on that one, Mama T-Mag, is I think it's going to be regional. I truly do. It's going to be regional. It's going to, the consequences of where we end up as individuals, as a prepper family or a prepper group or a prepper community, it's going to depend on the morality of the area. And I don't mean this in the religious sense, but in just a secular sense, meaning, are you good people? Not because of your religious background or how many times you go to church a week, not that. But are you fucking decent human beings? Do you respect others? Do you respect the rules that we live under, that you shouldn't steal, kill, murder, whatever? You shouldn't cheat people out of things. That you should work hard. That is a moral principle. The principle of hard work to benefit yourself so that you're not a burden on others, so that even you can do so well that you can help others of your own free will and accord. That is such a simple principle, to help others without being taxed for it, but of your own free will and accord. So some areas, I think, are going to go Captain Caveman. They're going to go completely fucking dark. Power's going to be out. The access to water is going to be horrible. It's going to be Escape from New York City. Right? Escape from New York. It's going to be that bad. Areas are going to be just awful. They're going to make Gaza look like a fucking vacation. That's Captain Caveman. Other areas, I think, will be Mad Max or Mad Max-like. Meaning you're going to have some, it depends on which Mad Max we're talking about also, right? There's going to be some areas that have power but limited water. Or some areas will have power and fuel, but they're not going to have a whole lot of access to food. It'll be sketchy, hit and miss, right? Different bits of civilization, hit and miss. Those will be your Mad Max areas. And I think there's going to be other areas, folks, that are going to have hard times. Their power will go off for a week or 2 weeks, but people won't lose their shit because they're moral and hardworking, decent people. They'll help each other. Right? They'll figure out, oh, this is how we get fresh water to people. Or, if you want food, we're growing our own food. We have access through agricultural purposes to fish, chicken, beef, name your protein, right? They're going to get, then food will come in and they'll take care of that, right? And they'll allow people that work hard to be rewarded for their efforts. So I think Mama T-Mag, that this is the way it's going to go. How good is your area? How bad is your area? Who are the people in your area? It could break down to a 10-mile radius. or it could be an entire state or region of the country that is either good or bad. And it will be the bad that brings areas down. Remember, lowest common denominator is going to determine what an area is like. If you've got an area full of hardworking people, but they're continuously being attacked by the absolute worst dregs of humanity, who commit acts of terror and knock out electricity, destroy bridges, trying to bring everyone else down to their level, well, that's what's going to happen in that area. You need to get rid of those people, folks. Put down the mad dogs. Now, I'm not inciting violence nor telling people to do awful, just awful, unbelievable bad things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're going to have some shit to deal with. Are you prepared for it? Up here, chance favors the prepared mind. You need to have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need to have it up here, right? To deal with this shit. Oh, it's getting worse. And I've said for years now, since Trump became president, we're coming in for a slow, skidding shit landing. We're crashing in Shitville. All right. Thank you, Mama T-Mag. Jolene, who's up next? As we power through into the last 30 minutes of the show. Fishman with a $5 super chat donation says, how is ridiculous crypto worth more than gold and silver? We're living in bizarro world. Now, I have struggled myself coming to grips with what crypto is. And there's lots of different types of crypto. Okay, there's Bitcoin. There's cryptocurrency based on gold and silver. It's an electronic representation of gold and silver. A gold stock, or silver stock, if you will, or silver or gold certificate also is supposed to be representative of the true metal. Now, the banks, we used to have gold and silver coin and then paper, and the paper were known as certificates. Bills, if you will. Bills have to be paid. Certificates represent something real. What do we have now? Dollar bills. Now, you used to be able to trade that silver certificate in and get actual silver. Same with the gold, right? The money, the piece of paper was worth gold. Silver was 1 ounce of silver, silver dollar, right? Gold, 35 ounce or $35 for an ounce of gold. That was the old money, right? We are in bizarro world now, where not all of us are on the same technological understanding, nor does everyone have the same faith in the value of things that we say are currency or something that we can trade. Some of the technological people believe in the value of these crypto mathematical formulas. They believe it has value because of the time or the energy or the effort or the fact that someone said, hey, look, right? You trade clams for money. You trade beef for money or gold or silver, right? You say that what you trade is valuable. So why not these electronic currencies? Right? What gives something real value? I believe that something has real value when it has purpose. Right? It has utility, right? You can't, electricity you can't really store. It's a bunch of electrons, but you can put it in a battery and that battery has value. You can play electronics with it. You can make light with it. You can make heat with it. Yeah, electricity has value. It has utility. It does something. They say gold is a store of value because of the human effort it took to find it, to get it, and it's precious and beautiful and all of these things. And silver has this incredible value to serve as money and also as the only substance that can be used in a lot of electronics or batteries or technology. And so people think also, Fishman, that crypto is something that can't be replaced, that is going to have some incredible value in the future, that will perform some task or have some sort of utility that makes it valuable. I don't think that crypto is worth more than gold or silver. I do think crypto, or at least some of them, have some value. I don't understand the value. I don't understand the work or utility it can do. But I've been told and described, and I want to thank many people, including Mr. Skylight or Mr. Skylight especially, for trying to explain it to me. A lot of people have taken a lot of time to try and help me understand there's utility. There's things that some of these cryptos can do. Not all of them. Some of them are just a certificate for getting gold. They keep the gold in a big vault and you have an electronic certificate. So it's a representative of something of value or something of utility. And others are just speculative instruments. It's speculative. People are guessing that somehow this one here, the XY crypto, is going to be worth something because someone made a promise. And people speculate on that, and it goes up or down based on that speculation. Just like people speculate on the value of a stock, say in a company called Ford. Hey, Ford's got some great cars coming out. So people speculate it's going to be worth more. Other people are like, these Fords suck. And it goes back down. It's speculative. It's a speculative instrument. So it's this idea of something of value. Something of value. This is what I think has value, right? That's a silver 1 ounce. It's got a USMC symbol on it. To me, that has value. It's 1 ounce of pure silver, 999 silver, 0.999%, right? It's incredibly useful if used for making medicine, electronics, batteries, solar panels, right? It has value, lots of value. That's something I can hold, something that can't be taken away, something that can't be it can be taken away at gunpoint, right? And they can lie to me about it, but it is what it is. And I think we need to look at crypto the same way. It is what it is. And at some point, the ones that are fake will go away. And if something has utility, it'll prove itself, right? If someone said 1,000 years ago, silica sand is priceless, right? Silicone microchip. The amount of energy, folks, that can be held in a tiny little SD card. It's incredible. That's entire fucking libraries in one tiny wafer. But if you told someone 1,000 years ago that silica used to make that, they'd think sand on the beach? Fucking sand is endless, and you're telling me it's priceless? See what I'm saying? So I think it is to say crypto is worth more than gold or silver. I like gold and silver, and I have faith in it. You know, our money, our currency says, in God we trust. It's a faith issue that the currency has value. It's a faith issue. Do you believe in it? I believe in gold. I've bid it. I've held it. I've panned for it. Folks, I've dug in the mud trying to get gold and gotten a wee bit. Right? I understand gold. I understand silver because I can read. And I can see the technology that we have, our cell phones, our watches, our computers. I understand space technology for what that's worth. I understand computer technology. I understand military grade weaponry. I understand I understand this shit, silver. The crypto stuff, I'm trying to learn. But I don't think it's worth more right now than gold or silver. In 1,000 years, everyone may understand crypto and know which ones are valuable and which ones are not. Some of them are going to prove themselves to be very valuable. Others, more than likely, will fall by the wayside. Right? They used to trade, and the joke is that money is clams. Right? Man, the clams is money. In Central America, I learned on my trip down there that coca beans, right? The beans that are used to make chocolate. You know, they grow in a pod on a tree. Those were used as a currency. Today, a coca bean, you're like, man, I got to cook that fucking thing for 5 hours, boil it down, add water, do this, do that, just to make a little bit of cocoa powder. Holy shit, that's a lot of work. You're telling me that has value? Like one of those will buy me a chicken? I don't think so, right? Ridiculous. Yet that was a currency and it had value at that time. Right now, cryptos, we don't understand, but hopefully in the future, they prove themselves to be of utility, of worth, of value. However, gold and silver have always been money. Gold and silver will always have value. I trust gold and silver the most. Paper dollars, it's a bill. It's a bill. Now, for any of you who think that all I do is read news stories and just regurgitate what other people think, rewind this and go back to me starting to talk about Fishman's comment. It's a great comment, great question. We are living in a fucking bizarro world. And what I want to do is be able to pass on information and opinion and allow you to make decisions. I just talked about gold and silver and crypto and all that to the best of my ability in a short amount of time. But that's what we do here on The Prepared Mind. For everyone that's here now, that's what we do. So we talk about subjects that are difficult to understand. We try and put some reason behind them so that we take the bizarro world out of our thinking and it all becomes understandable. Who's the problem? Should we get rid of them? Who's creating that problem? Who's creating that problem? Who's creating that problem? Right? We have a lot of problems and we need to clean up our own backyard, our own country. And then we need to go out and kick the ever-loving shit out of people wherever they're at. That's going to happen at some point, I hope. Right? I really do. I really hope it does. In the meantime, thank you, Fishman, very much for the great, great topic. Something worth talking about and thinking about. Stepping on up, who is next on the Prepared Mind channel? We got Boomer21 with a Canadian, $20 super chat donation. He said, just amazing how the trash can gather up many snowflakes while they go to department stores trashing Christmas. Yes, isn't that amazing? There's a story out there. There's an article. A congressman, his office made a Christmas decoration parody because he's an Arizona congressman. Arizona congressman worried about the border and the fact that the border isn't being protected by the government. So they made a Christmas/border decoration, and guess who did not like it? Yeah, that's right, the Democrats. The Democrats. They didn't like it. Why? Because it pointed out their flaws and their hypocrisy. So guess what the Democrats did? They demonstrated even more hypocrisy by coming out and complaining. Complaining, right? These snowflakes wanted to complain, right? They're like, you should read, and even go as so far as quoting Bible verse to a Republican. That's right, folks, a Democrat. These are the same Democrats that have orgies and sell out each other all day long, sell us out all day long. They sell us out, everyone, so they can afford the nicest things for themselves and have all of their perverted orgies. But they'll quote the Bible and tell Republicans, hey, why don't you be more honest and real about Christmas and do the American spirit thing and push America forward, fix America instead of, making fun of the border and Joe Biden and everything else. It's crazy. These people are idiots. And they are trash. The trash gathers up the snowflakes. The Democrats gather all the weak-minded idiots, in other words. Right? And then they go to department stores, and I'm following boomers a little more directly here, trashing Christmas. They hate Christ. They hate the celebration of the Jesus' birthday. Yet they want to make money on it and us and everyone and collect their taxes. Right? They want to destroy everything, folks, but they want to profit the whole way. Who profits from destruction? Evil. Evil profits from destruction. Great topic, great symbology inside there. I really appreciate that, Boomer. Thank you very much. Moving along, we've got Dun, 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 Misty Cook. Those 10 steps. And does a Prepared Mind membership right here. Pow. On the Prepared Mind channel on Sunday Night Live at the Zoo. Thank you, Misty Cook. Appreciate your support. And we look forward to questions, comments, thoughts from you through the comment section. And hopefully back on the screen again. We're still well over 400 people live as we close down the last 15 minutes. But as usual, if there's questions coming in, I will stay as long as it takes to get them answered, even if I have to drink more scotch. That's right, folks. The Glenfiddich, I tell you. Woo! Good scotch is a good thing. Now, folks, George Santos. I know we got more super chats coming, but George Santos has been expelled from Congress by the Republicans. That's right. I think 105 Republicans voted to get rid of George Santos. How interesting is that? They won't vote to get rid of Rashida Tlaib, who supports Hamas, who supports terrorism, who supports the destruction of Israel, who supports the murder of Israelis, who supports the murder of Jews, who supports the terrorism, the murdering of children, pregnant women, old people, the rape of young women, old women, the destruction of everything. And she can sit in office, no problem. Ilhan Omar, she's fine. Marry your brother, come to America, lie. Be anti-Semitic, be anti-Israel, support Hamas, no problem. But let's get rid of George Santos. He has gone scorched earth now. He says, hey, he's filing ethics complaints against all of the rhino liars. He's also going to go after Democrats, of course. He's going to name names. That's what I say. Name the names. Folks, he's naming the names. And he has even already told us what crimes they've committed. Will the government look into those complaints? Will they honestly investigate and then prosecute when the crimes are found? Everything from insider trading to embezzlement of funds, the use of shell corporations, right? Giving government contracts and profiting from it. There is so much corruption and filth in DC, folks, by rhino, filthy, stinking Republicans. And George Santos, not a perfect guy, and I don't give a shit. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. He's exposing all of DC. Now, the Republicans, as far as I'm concerned, are a bunch of lying sacks of shit. I want the Republican Party to be the Ronald Reagan Republican Party. Instead, we got a bunch of people posing as Republicans, but they're corrupt. They'll vote Republican, they'll vote for freedom, but only if they get to line their pockets and enrich themselves at everyone else's expense at the same time. That is not serving your country. That is serving oneself through a system that is designed to reward those who take good care of it. Think about the words that I just said. They are there to enrich themselves and support a system that supports their wealth creation for themselves. That's all they're doing. They'll vote all kinds of freedom and republicanism. They'll vote all kinds of constitutional America yeehaw, as long as they get to enrich themselves at the same time. Take all the money out of Washington, D.C., and find out that those shysters, those snake oil salesmen, those carpetbagging pieces of shit will go away. And maybe we'll get real public servants who care about the public, who care about the people, who care about our country. Until then, folks, you've got SHTF, heaping bowls full to eat. Right? It's all a giant shit sandwich, and we all get to take a bite. I'm telling you. Jolene, we got another super chat donation. Let's get into it. Hey, we got Shelly Chavers. Woohoo! And she has done something quite amazing. That's right. Got the old 30 caliber bullets stuck in a shot glass. Got the bottle of Glenfiddich right here. 18-year. Small batch 18, folks. And I want to thank you guys for buying this bottle. I want to thank Shelly for buying this shot. Not very inexpensive. And I consider this from you guys This is a reward to me. And I appreciate it. By golly, oh, am I appreciated. Because it is that good. Just said a little prayer there. Wow. That would be my son, Luke, calling a wee bit early. Shelly Chavers, thank you for that great donation, that great shot of scotch. She says, when digital IDs roll out, will it be implanted in the body? 50 countries are supposed to get it very soon. If these countries comply, we will certainly be next, or they will take down the USA if they don't think we'll comply. Your thoughts, John? Well, this is the interesting thing. The very last word before you said your thoughts, John, are key. The very last word, comply. Speaking to the United States, will comply or will not comply? Cerveza-bug, lockdown, will you comply? Yes, we did. Jim Jones juice, will you comply? No, America did not. Many did. Not all of us. Not by a long shot. The rest of the world did. The United States said, fuck it, no. The government pushed it. And they said, no, we have this accepted Jim Jones juice. So they said, hey, this little thing right here, this is good Jim Jones juice. It's safe. It's approved. You have to take it. And then they would set that one over there. And then they would show you this one and go, oh, but we're going to give you this one, this substitute one that is not. It is experimental. And Americans were like, hey, we don't like what you're doing here. They threw people out of the military. They ruined careers. They upset companies. They destroyed cities, corporations. They destroyed industry, pushing that. And America still said, fuck you, no, not doing it. The rest of the world can suck it if it comes to this mark of the beast, this mark that can be taken in the forehead or the mind, if you will. If you accept it in your mind, your forehead or your hand, a computer chip, right? How is this mark of the beast? I've been thinking about it, I don't know, for 40 years. What is it going to look like? Will it be implanted in the body? It doesn't matter. It could be your thumbprint. Put your thumbprint on a computer, read your thumbprint. There's your mark. You cannot buy or sell without a thumbprint. You can't buy or sell without a chip. You can't buy or sell without a bank number, an account number, a totally digital ID. Will America comply with that? Folks, states like Florida are already passing laws saying no central bank digital currency. Sorry, not doing it. Federal Reserve, go fuck yourself. It's illegal in Florida. Other states are looking at the same thing. Fight back. To scream, yell, email, text, carrier pigeon, send it off, poof, to your congressman at the state level, at the federal level. Tell them no, right? No. I mean, Elon Musk, billionaire, said that corporate advertisers are trying to blackmail him. X-Twitter, right? Walmart has dropped advertising on X-Twitter. Elon Musk has answered, go fuck yourself. Literally, folks, go fuck yourself. Good. We need to have the same attitude. You don't have to say the nasty words. I'll say them for you. But you need to have the same attitude. We will not be next. If we were weak, Shelley, yes, they'll make us. And if we're weak, yes, we will comply. Only if we're weak and only if we comply. Can they take us down? They can stop trading with us. They can try punishing the United States. But the United States has been at the top of the heap for so long. How can they dare even try? The rest of the world is still using the U.S. paper dollar, right? The preferred fiat currency, the world reserve currency. But that can be taken away, and it's being taken away, folks. But what's interesting, while they're trying to take it away, the rest of the world is going, what are we going to take instead? What do we trust instead? More central bank digital lies from other countries? Well, you know what they trust in, folks? They trust what they believe in. They trust what they've known. They trust silver and gold. India has bought insane amounts of gold. Last year, they bought 1/3 of the world's production of silver. Don't worry, solar panel companies are still using more than ever. You bet. The United States, to replace all their high-tech munitions, still buying all the silver they need to. But India bought 1/3 of the world's production, not to produce whatever it is India produces, which is a lot, but to hoard, to keep for themselves as a reserve currency. Countries know that shit's going bad with this digital ID, this digital bank account system, this digital currency, this crypto. You bet, Shelley. They're going to push it. The World Bank, known as the BIZ, the Bank of International Settlements, the Bankers Bank, the central bank's bank, all the central banks, they got that bank. They want to use it, Shelley. And that bank, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, based out of Basel, Switzerland, guess what? It's saying you as a country, in order to be part of our system, must have a central bank digital currency for your country in place by 2025. Will John have an account? Sure, you bet I will. Know why? Because they're going to give me one whether I like it or not. They're going to give you one whether you like it or not. Does that mean I have to take it? I have to use it? I have to accept it? Are they going to take away other bank accounts? How are we going to buy or sell without their bank account /mark? I don't know. If they give me one of those accounts, hey, maybe I'll just take that, turn around and buy, I don't know, shells, coca beans, gold or silver? Or will they say you can only use the central bank digital currency to buy food? And you can't buy food with anything else other than a central bank digital currency. Well, I tell you what, the harder they push, the more you and I will fight back. And I guarantee they'll hear from me. And any American that pushes this shit on other Americans, I'm going to give them a fucking earful too. Say, you're a fucking piece of shit for pushing that on Americans and making them use something they don't want. And if we all say no, the same way we said no with the Jim Jones juice. Yes, I'm going into that store without a shot. Yes, I'm going into the store without a fucking stupid mask. No, you can't stop me. No, I will not comply. Try it. Try me. That's what we need to say as Americans without breaking the law to the government, without hurting anyone. We need to be, I don't know, what did Martin Luther King Jr. like? Well, nonviolent civil disobedience. Only mine won't be quite as nonviolent, nor as civil, nor as undisobedient as they would like. But a lot of people are promising that that's how they're going to have to be. I guess we're going to find out. Shelley, thank you for the great scotch. Thank you for the great support. Stick up for yourself, your family. Stick up for others around you. And, of course, share this internet address so they can stick up for themselves by having the information they need. Now, we've got another super chat donation at the end of the show. We have Misty Cook. Those 10 steps back with another $5 super chat donation. She says, John, the dollar is down, but gold and oil are up. School me, please. What's the gold-oil correlation? Well, there's a correlation there. But it's not, I don't think the correlation is as strong as most people would think. I used to try and make, this would be decades ago, an oil-gold correlation. The value of a barrel of oil versus an ounce of gold or a tenth of an ounce, whatever metric you have. Now, one of the best correlations between dollar and gold was through the Japanese yen, but that kind of went away as well. We are in an incredible economic quagmire right now. Oil is strongly affected by two things: the supply that's available and the supply that is allowed to be available. So, of course, mostly the supply that's allowed to be available is the one that matters the most. If OPEC says, everyone, open all your spigots, fill the ships, send them everywhere, right? There'll be more oil and it'll be more available. So there'll be more competition for the dollars that are willing to buy it, meaning the price will come down. Supply is up. But the base, right, how much oil is available is the basic cost. So let's just say it costs $50 a barrel to get the oil out of the ground because oil levels are going lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. The quality of the oil coming out of the ground is going lower and lower, meaning there's less useful fuel, diesel, bunker oil, kerosene, gasoline, right? They're lower grade, so it's more expensive to get the oil out of the ground and you're getting less useful product out. That brings the basic cost up. And then you have the amount of oil on the market affects the cost. Now, if you remember, just a few years ago, oil started trading at negative $30 a barrel. It went not only down to zero, but less than zero. In other words, they would pay you to take it. And it showed that the market is completely broken. The correlation between oil and supply and oil and availability, peak oil or not, the oil to gold ratio, the oil to dollar ratio, right? The dollar to gold based off of the oil or the other way around, none of it matters anymore, Misty. Economics, the system we have is broken, which means what? If the currency was real, that is to say the unit of exchange, the dollar, was steady and universal, then everything would be measured by it. What is the most steady, universal, accepted, understood, and beloved thing on the planet? Gold. They used to base the value of the dollar and silver, or the dollar off of silver, 1 ounce, or gold, let's just say 20 ounces is where it started. That was really simple. And people know what gold is worth, so everything is based off of the gold, off the dollar, and it was steady, it was consistent, it was believable. Yes, gold is getting harder to find. Gold is getting more expensive to produce because of the cost of oil, the cost of labor, the difficulty in getting it, the quality of gold ore. But everything is becoming more difficult to get. Even the oil is everything's getting more. So it's steady to gold and oil. Okay, and that's the correlation I see. That's the only one that kind of really works for me anymore, Misty, is how much is the cost of a barrel of oil based on getting it out of the ground? Not what they're selling it for. We're selling it for down here, but the cost of getting it out of the ground and how many dollars does it take to get that gold? In other words, the ore quality, how much gold is out there. That's the oil gold correlation. Now, what I don't do anymore, Misty, is try and follow that based on the gold charts and the oil charts to see if the correlation is breaking or coming back together. But where the broken part is again, and this is a great subject because it involves precious metals, gold and silver. It involves oil, which is energy. And it takes so much energy to get the oil out of the ground that you're getting less and less oil out of the ground for more and more energy put in. So the energy return on investment is going down. It takes more and more energy just to get some energy out of the ground. So we need a different source for energy. We can't rely on oil the way we used to, not because of carbon, but because of the expense of dealing with it. We're going to need to go and get another energy source. See, cold fusion is probably another 25 to 50 years away from being anywhere useful. That's provided they aren't lying about that. Nuclear is more expensive, but because of inflation and bringing things up, it's going to be relatively cheap soon anyway. So they need to start making nuclear power plants and doing it. They're very safe. Looked into it, spent many hours. But this oil gold correlation, the dollar, gold is purchased with dollars. or yen or rubles. It doesn't matter. But let's just use the dollar because it is the world reserve currency. The dollar itself is being debased, meaning they're printing and printing and printing and printing. They print more, but the value goes down because there's more of them in circulation. It takes more dollars to compete for anything. So the value of gold, is it going up or is the money going down? Well, right now, we had a big jump, $100 an ounce last week on gold. So not only is the currency broken because it's being printed, but the value of the dollar is being destroyed because government, all the lying sacks of shit in government, are what? They're spending, they're deficit spending, they're continue to deficit spend. They're wasting money, they're stealing money, they're ruining the value of the currency. They've got all this debt, mountains and mountains of insurmountable debt. And not just debt, but obligations. What is an obligation? Well, they've collected money from me, you, everyone, for Social Security, for Medicare, for retirements, government retirements, military retirements, all these retirements. The government has to pay that money back. Where are they going to get it? Well, they're going to get it from future taxpayers. They've collected, folks, $100 trillion from me and you. And they've spent it, but they still owe that money. That is an obligation. One of the ways to solve the problem, and I've talked about this for years and years back, solve the problem. Make 1 ounce of gold worth $1 million. There's enough gold in Fort Knox, supposedly in Fort Knox, and around the world, so that every dollar is backed by gold. And we go back to a gold standard where it's fixed and everything else is fixed around it and it can't move real far. Right? Oil getting harder to get, it gets a little more expensive, but then they find some more of it and the things are better and they start using other forms of energy and everything's good. But will they do that? A lot of people think we're going to go to a gold standard. A lot of people think that Russia, right, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the other dozen and more countries that are joining that economic, trade, military union are going to come up with a gold payment system so that people will want to use their currencies. And that's, they threatened that it was going to happen this year. Well, whoops, bad threat, didn't happen. But it is a potential because those same countries, India, of which I said bought 1/3 of the world's silver production in 1 year. That's what they bought last year, was what they made, the whole world. Well, 1/3 of it in 1 year. It's a great topic, Misty. I appreciate the super chat and I appreciate you bringing it up. Oil gold correlation, busted. Can it be fixed? Yes. How do we get from here to there? Right through SHTF-ville. Mad Max, Captain Caveman, hard times. It's on the other side of that. That's right. You got to go through the fire swamp to get out the other side. All right, Misty, thank you. And Jolene says there's one more super chat donation in here. We've gone past 2 hours. We're in the red zone, and it's Diorce with a 762 super chat donation. And he says, I would like to know why the pro-pals that were at the Capital weren't arrested and given the same treatment as the J6 people. I got it. I'm just trying to come up with a way I can say it. Okay. Why were the Hamas supporters, the pro-Palestinians, why weren't they arrested? Well, see, they were protesting. They weren't being accused of being insurrectionists, even though they entered the Capitol building without permission, even though they entered the Capitol building during congressional session, even though they entered the Capitol building during congressional session and interrupted and threatened to interrupt and stop congressional hearings, congressional business, the business of the people, the government. The government decided they weren't doing an insurrection. They weren't terrorists. that they weren't doing bad things, that they weren't part of a conspiracy, whereas the January 6 people were. And that great lie exists to this day, that the January 6 people were there to commit an insurrection, which is fucking laughable on its face. Now, here's the deal, viewers. If you are silenced, it's because your criticism is affecting the people in charge. If you are allowed to speak, freedom of speech is important, folks, but if they allow you to speak without trying to silence you, then you must be saying something that they're okay with. The more tyrannical a government is, the more it censors its critics. So if you're at the heart of the beast in Washington, D.C., screaming and yelling at Congress while they're in session, while you commit trespassing, and the government says, no problem. What are they telling us about the pro-Palestinians? What they're telling us about these people, the pro-Pals, is that they approve of that message. We're Washington, D.C., and we approve the message of these pro-Hamas, pro-terrorists, pro-murder, pro-baby killing, pro-rapist, pro-invaders, pro-kidnappers, pro-hostage taking, pro-cowards. They approve of them. That's what they're saying. That's why they weren't arrested, and that's why they didn't get the same treatment as the January 6th American patriots, because the government of Washington, D.C. supports what is going on in Israel. Whether they like the terrorist or not, they approve of what's being done because for political purposes, it is enriching them and it is giving them more power. And that is exactly what Washington, D.C. wants. They want more dissension, more fighting, and more power, but they don't want to have their narrative threatened. That's exactly why. Thank you, viewers. Great question. And I think we are wrapped up on this Sunday Night Live. I want to thank everybody for giving me the week off while I took care of some personal business, took care of some professional business, and looked into some additional business. But I am back. I am here, and we will resume again big time. 0 dark 30 tomorrow morning. Thank you for all the great support. And hey, chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Get prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and that plan, so critical. You guys be cool. Semper Fi. And God bless America.